so now what's gonna happen? Okay, so what are they gonna do about it? What if Eren doesn't want to do anything about it? Oh, yeah! Well, that's good? Question mark? I don't know who that's good for, but... Oh, Reiner. Yeah, can't the Jaw Titan break Annie out of the thing? Wasn't that also relevant? Oh no, is Reiner okay? Or are they gonna give Reiner's powers to Gabi? I don't think we're done with Reiner yet. I think that Reiner has been spared death too many times to die now, you know what I mean? But where would you even go? You're probably safer being here because it's everywhere outside of Paradise that is getting trampled. Like, oh, okay, they want to tell the world. Yeah, there's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. It's probably better for everyone to try to come here, in theory. But killing Eren isn't gonna stop it. Oh, fuck! Gabi's tying up her hair again! Let's go! Oh my god, she kind of looks like him. Is that supposed to be intentional? Okay, Reiner. Have fun on your nap, I guess. Well, like, you have a point, I guess. Except for the ones here. Damn, Jean. That's fucked up. But you can't. It's too late. At least I think. Yeah, at this point, too, who else do they have to turn to? You know? Like, Eren saved them all from Zeke's plan. So, yeah. Like, it's not like they can go to Zeke and ask for Zeke's help because Zeke wants to do bad things to them, too. Oh, no! Oh, not this! Not like this! Oh, fuck. Yeah, that's a good question. Why are they attacking our own? Damn. We need to get Falco, what do you call it? A baby carrier? No, that's so fucked up! You want to feed Falco to a Titan? That's so fucked up! Connie's mom is still there! Oh, that's so fucked up, though! That's so fucked up! But he wants to save his mom! Yeah, see, it's not even about, like, Falco and Falco being from Marley. It's just... he wants to save his mom. And he's not wrong! So... okay, y'all may have bigger problems right now, but yeah, that's a good point. Why are they attacking them if Eren is in control? Well, okay. Connie is just kidnapping a child, but I get it. I understand what Armin is saying, like this idea that it'll only cause more conflict because they care about Falco, but like, it's not like Connie's doing it to spite Marley. He's doing it to save his mom, and that's a little different, you know? Okay, so Zeke made those Titans, and now those Titans are just on the loose, you know what I mean? Like, those are the ones that Zeke made, so maybe Eren doesn't have control over them, but shouldn't he? I don't know. Oh, Kyla! Oh, Kyla, no! That's not good, but I'm sure that Gabi will save her, and then it'll be a debt repaid, you know? Come on! Come on, Gabi! You can do it! That was my theory from last week, I know! Gabi's gonna do it, it's okay! Oh! Come on, Gabi! Go, go, go! Yeah! Nice! Good job, Gabi! Good bro. Ah, nice! 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 Good job! They covered for her! Oh! See? Look! And, like, they've repaired everything! Yep, it be like that sometimes. I know, see? Because they're better people than they were before. I hope. I think, anyway. They got character development. No! Maybe there's a devil in all of us. Oh my god. Damn, man. I like that. But it's about controlling it. And they controlled it. And they became better. Yeah. I like that. This is like so classic too. This feels like, you know, season 3 and previous. And like when they were at the castle and like the whole like round thingy, you know, like, yeah, this is so like, oh my god. This is so cool. What a cool shot. Yeah, good job, guys. And now they have the thunder spears, so like they're doing good. Nice. Yeah, look at this. Oh my god. Oh. Oh no, Pixis wasn't okay. Oh. Oh. That's so sad after everything. Yeah. That's right. This is so fucked up, man. Oh. Hopefully Connie didn't change his mind, because that would be so fucked if they killed him and Connie's like, actually, you're right. I should have saved the commander. Ah, good job, Mikasa. Nice. Ah, this is so badass. Oh my god. Yeah, this is crazy. But where's Annie, bro? But where's Annie, though? Oh, Yelena, I kind of feel bad for her. Like, she thought that Zeke was, like, the Messiah. You know? And now, like, she has nothing to live for. She doesn't even care. Oh. Come on, they have to help her. But where are y'all even gonna go? Oh yeah, and they lost him, so that's the other thing. They saw it! Remember? Oh yeah, they were there! Wait. Yeah, they remember because they were there, weren't they? That's a good question, actually. I was thinking about that. Like, why can't Eren just... But I don't know. Like, you know, I don't think that's a thing, so... Fuck, man. Annie is out of the box! Not the box! Annie is out of the frozen! Yes, 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 yes! Let's go! Is she okay? I knew it! I knew that she would pop out! No! How can you call this episode thaw, but then show the actual thawing at like the end of the minutes? You know, that's bullshit! Oh my god. Okay. All right, everybody, let us get into the discussion now. And something that I was saying last week was that I was pretty sure that this guy was related to someone, and we were right. It is Annie's father, I believe it is. So I didn't catch that. Like, I didn't remember what he looked like, but I was like, oh, they're focusing on that guy. He must be related to someone, which is interesting because this episode kind of like not opens with him because we saw the clips from last week, but like we go to him and then Annie is like at the end, you know, so it's like the beginning and end sort of thing. I just thought that that was kind of cool. But yeah, like everybody knows here because they're all Eldian. They all saw the vision in this market here that the Titans are leaving the island and coming to kill them, as they say. So we'll talk about like Eren's plans later because I do have a couple ideas, but I will say I think it's kind of concerning because last week I was like, maybe they'll teleport all the other Eldians to the island, and like I had all these ideas and it's like nothing like that is happening yet. I mean, I don't know, but I don't know. It seems like that maybe Eren doesn't care about the Eldians over there. And I did see a comment that I thought was interesting. Not like justifiable, but like maybe from Eren's point of view, he knows that the Eldians over there have so much hatred, like self-hatred, similar to Gabi, that bringing them over here would basically like do no good because they would still basically have the racist ideas about Eldians, even though they are Eldians themselves. And so I thought that that may have been a point towards Eren's mindset, the fact that like maybe he doesn't want to teleport all of those Eldians here because those Eldians also have the same racist ideas about their own race, right? And so maybe that wouldn't solve the conflict because that's what Eren wants. Eren wants his friends to live happily. He doesn't give a fuck about anybody else, right? And so I think that maybe, like, what that person said could be true in the sense that he doesn't care about saving the other Eldians because the other Eldians would cause conflict still against his friends. Like, say, for example, all of the Eldians, like, from Marley were brought to the island. There's no indication that their mindset would change because they hate the people of Paradise. So there's nothing to say that there wouldn't be a Marley Eldians versus Paradise Eldians, right? Even if the rest of the world is wiped out. So yeah, I'm starting to think that maybe Eren has no intention of saving them at all. But we'll get to that in a bit. And so yeah, Reiner not doing so good and his armor coming undone. That is like a piece of foreshadowing towards Annie, I guess, because like, I guess that because Eren undid everyone's hardening, that also meant like the thing that Annie had made, right? I don't exactly get that. Like, is that permanent? Is that just like an in the moment sort of thing? Because like Eren's hardening is an important part of his Warhammer Titan. So I'm sure it'll come back. I'm sure it was just like for the minute, you know, any hardening that already existed in the world became undone sort of situation, right? And so I wonder, like, did Eren do that intentionally because he saw something with Annie and wanted Annie out of the shell? That's the other thing I've been thinking about is like, is Eren doing things on purpose because he has a manipulative reason, right? And so something that somebody had said was like, why doesn't Eren just turn all of the pure Titans, right? Because those are like his own men, right? Like the commander was turned as well, like Commander Pixis, I think that they call him, right? Like he was turned as well. All of their friends, right? People that were on Eren's side, they were turned into pure Titans, right? And so the thing was like, why doesn't Eren just like turn back all the people that Zeke turned the Titans into, right? Like that was the thing. And so I wonder, like, what if he doesn't want to? And I guess we'll get to this in a minute, but what if he doesn't want to because there's something specific about Connie taking Falco to his mom that wouldn't necessarily happen if she was not still a Titan. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder if Eren cannot be selective in a way. Like, he can't just be like, okay, turn Connie's mom back into a person, right? I wonder if it would have to be like as a whole. And so then those big Titans that are destroying the world, if you said that, if you said, I want to turn like the Titans back into people, right? Like maybe that's also the other reason. Like maybe the reason why Eren won't turn back the ones that Zeke turned into is because he would have to do that to all of them. And the Colossals are still people, right? Like the Colossal Titans are still people that were turned into Titans. So yeah, I have a couple ideas about that. but I sort of wonder if, like, maybe it is possible for Eren to be that specific. Maybe it doesn't need to be as vague as, like, all of the hardening is undone. I need to address all the subjects of Ymir, right? Like, I sort of thought that maybe Eren could be specific, but he doesn't want to, because there's an incident that happens when Connie brings Falco to his mom that is important for Eren's plan. So yeah, basically two options. Like, one, Eren can't be specific. That is like the caveat of the power. He can't say, I want to undo Reiner's hardening, right? He'll have to say, I want to undo all of the hardening in the world. I don't want to just talk to the subjects of Ymir on Paradise. I want to talk to all the subjects of Ymir. Like, it's possible he can't be specific, but if he can be specific, is it possible that the reason why he hasn't been turning people back is because there's like a motivation not to? You know what I mean? Like, what if like all of those men dying was like part of some other plan, you know, like all of those people that were his own men? What if he wanted them to stay as Titans for some reason? What if he wants Connie's mom to stay as a Titan for some reason? So yeah, just something I've been thinking about, right? Also, we still don't know where Hanji and Levi are, so I feel like that may be relevant too, and we don't know where Peck is, and so I feel like that if there's something with Connie's mom going on, like if there's gonna be some sort of confrontation, I feel like it could be Peck, Levi, and Hanji, or I guess they could feed Falco to Levi, but I don't think that Levi's like that hurt, you know what I mean? I don't think he's that like fucked up, I don't know. But yeah, and so Reiner, I think what's happening with Reiner here, and the reason why he's not like recovering as fast, like I saw somebody be like, oh, like all of the Titans, like what if Eren like stopped all the Titan powers, like no one can ever shift again, which is a theory I had, but I feel like that's kind of endgame. That doesn't make a lot of sense right now, right? But I feel like that, like the reason why Reiner hasn't like been able to heal himself and stuff is because he's just like, I give up. What can we do? The world's ending, right? Like I feel like he has no motivation to live anymore, and so therefore he will not heal himself. In a way, it's all like mental. It's also possible he just sustained too much damage, but I don't think that that's it. I think that he could heal himself, but he's given up, and so it's his mental, it's his mindset basically that is stopping him. And I love this conversation because it's like, oh yeah, we have to tell Marley, know the world, but like why? Like, you know what I mean? There's nowhere to run, there's nowhere to hide, everything is like doomed, right? Everyone's gonna die. We have to kill Eren and stop him. See, so that's an interesting thing to say, because does that even fucking matter? Because at this point, like, killing Eren, does that even really matter? Because Ymir is the one doing it. Like, Ymir has been empowered by Eren to follow his command, if you want to call it that, right? But like, it's Ymir doing it, right? And they can't kill her because she's sort of like a spirit entity. They would have to talk her out of agreeing with Eren. But it seems like she agrees, right? Because like, I had this idea that because Eren touched Ymir, and Ymir has royal blood, Eren took precedent over Zeke, basically. That Eren became more important than Zeke, and so Ymir doesn't actually have free will right now. She's not doing it of her own free will. She's doing it because Eren is touching her. That's what I was saying, like, last week and stuff. But if it is of her own free will, even if Eren dies, that doesn't mean she'll stop doing it, you know? And so I think that that's also a little suspicious, right? Like, I don't know. The founding Titan can make all Titans and subjects of Ymir obey its will. See, so that's interesting too, because that would say that maybe Eren could have turned everyone back and he didn't for some reason, because I don't know, like, just the way that that was phrased kind of made it sound like, you know, like, oh, like, he can make all of the Titans and subjects of Ymir obey its will. And so if that's the case, like, couldn't Eren control them? But for some reason he didn't want to or didn't care or something. Like, I don't know. That seems a little suspicious. I do like this because I like how Gabi is basically, how do you call it? Like, she looks like Eren, I guess. Like, you know what I mean? She looks like Eren, and I feel like that that's supposed to be intentional. It's supposed to be like a parallel and a thing. And then we have Reiner, probably the most peaceful he's ever looked in his life. He's just taking a little nap of poo, you know? And so let's talk about Jean, because I feel like that this is important for this episode too. Because Jean is kind of justifying, I'm gonna use that word lightly, but he's justifying what Eren did, right? Once they die off, so will all the hate. And so that's actually why I don't think that he has any intention of saving the Eldians outside of the wall, because they also have self-hatred, right? So I think that's the thing. Everyone who threatened our existence will be flattened, leaving nothing but empty plains. What the world feared more than anything else has happened, all because they labeled us as devils and tried to slaughter us. In other words, this is something they brought upon themselves. There was nothing we can do, right? And what I think is interesting is, like, the way Jean explains it, like, I don't know how to explain this. The way Jean explains it, it makes sense why in this universe Jean would think this. You know what I mean? Like, this is his logical conclusion that he's coming to. I guess what I would say, though, is that I think that the point of Attack on Titan is that there's no good people. Like, there's no good solution. There's no good people. Like, everybody knows that what Eren is doing is bad. But I guess it's like everyone's bad. You know what I mean? And I think that's kind of the point. You aren't supposed to be like, Eren, you're absolutely right. I think it's more supposed to be that Eren thinks that there is no other way. And that's different than thinking that you're in the right. I do think Eren does think he's in the right, though. I do think Eren does think that he's in the right, but I think that they think that there's no other alternative, which is different than thinking you're right. Like, Jean, I think, thinks that this is the only choice, whereas Eren thinks he's absolutely correct, and those are two different things. I think that, like, the core thing for me, though, what I've been thinking about is this idea that, like, all of the injustices that have been perpetrated by people in power. Even in Ymir's backstory, all of the shit that happened was perpetrated by the king. And so I think what I would say is, like, Jean is like, well, like, the world deserved it, you know? I think that, like, basically what I've been thinking is that the people in power do not speak for the citizens that just happen to live there. And I think that is kind of where the argument, like, I don't want to say falls apart because I feel like it's supposed to be faulty on purpose. Like, I feel like you're not supposed to agree, but then the characters also know they're not supposed to agree. Does that make any sense? I don't know. I just feel like that it's not like, oh, this is bad writing because here are the holes. Like, no, like, it's written to have holes on purpose, which is different, right? Like, I feel like it's written this way to prove a point, right? And so, anyway, the thing for me is that, like, it's not just going to be the people in power that perpetrated these things. It's going to be the other oppressed people around the world. Kind of like the guy that was like, oh, does that include my homeland too, right? Like, you know, they were also subjugated. They were subjugated by Marley as well, right? And so now they are also, like, suffering in the attempt to crush Marley and everyone else, right? And so I think that that's the thing, right? Like, I think that that's the big difference. Like, if Eren was just killing the military people, right? Like Gabi had said, the military bases, that's different, right? And so I feel like that, like, that's the thing, I guess. I guess to say it very simply, that is the thing. And that is, like, the flaw with everything. But I think it's a flaw that the show is acknowledging on purpose, because I don't think that the idea is that Eren is in the right. In fact, I feel like that they are going to attempt to stop him because they realize that despite what the oppressive people in power have done, there are people that have not done anything wrong. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the people living in Marley didn't necessarily, like, they weren't the ones doing those actions. They just happened to be born there. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's a very interesting conversation, obviously. But then, like, Eren's argument would probably be, well, I just happened to be born here, and that's what, like, labeled me as this, and what caused you people in Marley to do that, right? And so, yeah, it's just a whole thing. And so they're like, do we stop Eren? And see, this is what I mean by, like, there are no good choices for them, because they're like, Eren opposed Zeke, who wanted to castrate all of us, right? So it's not like it's like, oh, Eren's the bad guy and Zeke's the good guy. Like, it's like, no, Zeke is the bad guy, Eren is also the bad guy, and there is no one doing anything good ever, right? And so I feel like that's what the narrative is trying to really convey, is that Zeke's plan is bad. Eren's plan is also bad. There is just bad across the board, right? And so it's not like that they can, you know, side with Zeke at this point either. And so it's like, what are they going to do? Eren is sacrificing humanity outside the walls to protect us. Yeah, exactly. And so this is basically the conclusion that Jean comes to, right? Or that John, I guess I should say, that John comes to, is that they are the ones that Eren cares about most, and they see that that in the flashback. And so Eren is not really trying to save the world. He's just trying to save them. And I feel like that also stems, I don't want to say a selfish motivation, because I guess Eren is saving his friends, but it's still selfish, right? Like, I feel like that's the core of it, is that Eren has no delusions of grandeur about what he is doing is right. He just knows that if he does it, his friends will be safe, right? And I feel like that's a very big difference, especially because a lot of people, they're like, oh, like, you know, Eren, like, is advocating for genocide and Attack on Titan's advocating for genocide, and I would totally disagree. I think that the show's not doing that. I think rather, the show is actually advocating against, and I think that we are gonna get that with Eren, right? That, like, what Eren's doing is not right, because this is ultimately a selfish motivation at the end of the day. And it's kind of like tragic in a way. He just wants to save his friends. And so he's going nuclear in order to do it in the only way that he knows how, right? And so I feel like that, yeah, it's a lot more complicated than I think that people necessarily give it credit for. But yeah, I don't think that the show is trying to paint it as a good thing. I think they're doing the opposite. That was the point of what I was trying to say. And yeah, so the Titans are fighting their own soldiers at this point. And so that's the question, like, can Eren not do anything about this? Or is he choosing not to for a reason, right? We don't know. And so yeah, they can't just leave Falco there. And so Connie basically says, even though the commander would have made a lot more sense considering his battle ability, but anyway. And so Connie says that he wants to basically save his mom. According to Zeke, that kid is a warrior candidate and he's like their little brother. If we kill someone close to Reiner and the cart, it'll only cause more conflict. See, though, I don't know why Armin thought that argument makes any sense. Because, like, the conflict is already happening. You know what I mean? Like, the world is being destroyed and Peck and Reiner probably along with it. And so I don't think, like, Armin is trying to be like, the cycle of bloodshed will just continue if you do this. But I think Connie sees it more as the bloodshed's gonna happen anyway, so why not? Why don't I do this, right? And so yeah, I don't think that argument was working. Also, Connie's just not thinking logically, because this doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make sense to give a powerful superpower that could possibly help them to his mom. At the same time, he thinks that everything's over. And so, like, Titan shifters need not more exist if they're the only ones left in the world. And so if he can save his mom using a Titan shifter, especially when Titan shifters will no longer fight, like, Connie is illogical, but somehow this also makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, it makes sense, but it also doesn't make sense. And I just love how he threw the fact that Armin ate Bertold right back in his face. That was pretty good, like, drama and everything. But yeah, I think Connie's plan makes sense to Connie. I understand why Connie is saying what he's saying, basically. Because he's like, hey, the world's ending. There will be no war anymore anyway. And so why don't I bring back my mom, right? And so yeah, like, I think that's basically what he's thinking. Now, Yelena, I feel like that Yelena is just having, like, a mental breakdown because she's realizing that Zeke made the Titans and isn't controlling them. Like, Yelena stands by the window basically baiting one of them to eat her. Like, eat me if you can, sort of. Like, she's not saying it like that. She's very actually more melancholy about it, right? But I think that she's standing there because she has resigned herself to the fact that this Titan would not try to eat her if Zeke was in control. Therefore, Zeke is not in control. Now, this scene, oh man, this scene was so amazing and, like, heartbreaking too, because I don't know if you guys realized, and I didn't on the first try, or on the first run, I guess I should say, but this Titan is, like, the man that reunited Falco and Gabi earlier. Like, he was the guy that was like, I'll take the prisoner over here and tie him up in a house, right? He was that guy. And so now, like, for them to have to kill him, right? For Gabi to have to kill the person who reunited them both, like Falco and Gabi together, that was just, like, so crazy to me when I realized that. And then you have Kaya, like, begging for Sasha to come back, and you just have Gabi, like, being an absolute badass. And I feel like we kind of forgot. Maybe you guys didn't, but I forgot. Like, it's been a while, right? Like, they're warriors. The kids were warriors. And it's easy to forget that because, like, this whole season they haven't been fighting, and, like, they were kidnapped, and, like, they were pretending to be farm children. And so it's easy to forget that they have actual combat skills, right? I mean, I guess Gabi did shoot Eren's head off like 5 minutes ago, but that didn't work. So I guess in that case, we also forgot. But like, you know what I mean? Like, Gabi is still a warrior. And I love this parallel right here because you have Kaya thinking it's Sasha and remembering when Sasha saved her as a child, right? So I just think that that's crazy. And there's so many parallels, right? Like from the very beginning, I had said like, wait a minute, doesn't it seem like Sasha and Gabi look alike? Like, I wonder how that'll play into anything, right? And like, then she killed Sasha and I was like, oh, oh no, right? But I think that this is what it was supposed to play into. This idea of like, Gabi saved her the same way Sasha saved her once, and that's a whole thing, right? And then also now, like, she also kind of looks like Eren, and so that's a whole thing as well. But yeah, I love this, and I love how, like, the family covers for her, because, like, it's kind of like a debt has been paid, you know? Like, Gabi saved their daughter, even though they killed their other daughter. You know what I mean? It's like Gabi has changed, and this is proof of it, right? That Gabi would risk her life to save Kaya, especially after Kaya was like, I'll fucking kill you, right? Like in the before. And so I feel like that this is kind of supposed to illustrate like this idea of like reconciliation, or like a full circle reconciliation. Because I think that Sasha's family now fully forgives Gabi, and I think Gabi can fully forgive them as well. Like, it's a whole thing. And I love how they all play into it, and they all distract them by saying, hey, like, are you guys gonna get us somewhere safe though? Like, how about y'all get us to a safe place first, right? And so they distract them, and I thought that was really, really great. I thought that was really good. And I love how they're just talking about this so casually. They're like, yeah, seems that way. And so I love this. Like, they're like, you too, why did you save me? Like, it's like they're so confused at why they've been protecting each other. And I just love this because they're like, no, I'm the devil. I'm the devil, right? And like, to this point, Gabi, I would say like you did that because you had no other choice, right? Like, you know, you were brought up in that environment. You wanted your family to be safe. That's the other thing. By being a warrior, your family is guaranteed some safety. It's a whole thing, right? But I like this too. I like this idea that there's a devil in everyone. The world is like this because there's a devil in all of us. Then what should we do? Escape the forest, right? And that's actually a reference to what Sasha's father was saying, right? That like the world is a forest, and we have to get our kids out of the forest and everything, right? And so I think that that's interesting too, because I wonder if this smaller anecdote is supposed to be representative of what they will hope that the show achieves by the end, because I just don't know. Like, I genuinely feel like Eren will succeed at the rumbling and destroy the world. What happens to him afterwards may be, like, you know, up for debate. Like, Eren may die at the end, but I don't think that they're gonna stop the rumbling and save the world. I just don't think that they're going to. I think that the rumbling will succeed. And then the final, like, remnants will be, like, how Armin and Mikasa want to decide to build society or something. Because, like, I don't know. There's just, let's talk about this now then, because we're just going to. You know, I was going to wait until that conversation that Armin and Gabi were having, but there's a show I watched, and I'll stay vague about the show just because some people may want to watch it, but there's a show I watched where the main character turned himself into a villain, into the enemy of the world, so the world would unite together against him in all of his crimes. And then they rebuilt their society together, basically, right? Let's just say if it's Eren, right? Eren becomes the villain, everybody tries to work to fight against Eren, and then in the rubble, humanity is rebuilt, and they all, like, rebuild together, basically, right? And I watched a show that had that sort of premise. So when Eren was doing the things, I kind of thought that maybe that is what he was doing. He was trying to basically unite the world, like get Marley to work with everybody else, like in the world, to stop the one unified threat of the colossal titans and of Eren, basically. Like, if we kill Eren, Eren is now the foe that we will unite together against. However, the reason why I don't see that working here in this show is just because, like, if you kill Eren, okay, like, that doesn't solve Marley, like, having all of the Eldians, you know, in the position that they are in society. It doesn't solve all the countries that they've conquered, right? It's not like Marley's gonna be like, you know, we learned the error of our ways, we'll just let everybody go that we colonized. Like, it's not like that's gonna happen. And so I just feel like that even though shows have done that, I feel like it doesn't really make sense to do that here, because if Eren dies right now, if they stop the rumbling, nothing in the world is going to change, really. Or at least I don't think so. I don't think that, like, if Eren stopped the rumbling, or if, like, Eren's friends killed him, right? Like, let's just say that they kill him and they tell the world, hey, like, we killed Eren to show you as a show of good faith. Like, Marley would probably just kill them all and the island, because there's more to it too than just the racism angle of all of it. Didn't they say that Paradise had a bunch of natural resources and they wanted them, right? And so it's more than that too. Like, the racism is the Trojan horse of the vessel, right? Is like the cover of the reason, but then there's also like a reason of resources and, like, I don't know, gasoline or something. I don't remember what it was, but it was something like that, where they were like, Paradise has things and we want the things, right? And so the racism is just a convenient way to get the things, but that won't stop. Like, wanting to get the things will not stop if Eren dies, right? And so that's the only thing I'm struggling with in terms of seeing, like, an end game of the show here, is that, like, if it's like, oh yeah, we killed Eren, we stopped the rumbling, like, Mikasa and Armin try to make peace with the rest of the world, like, that just makes no sense to me based off of everything we've seen. So I feel like the rumbling will succeed. After that, though, like, if the rumbling succeeds, what's the point of stopping Eren anyway? That's the other thing, too, is, like, if Eren genocides everyone, what's the point of killing him after that? You know what I mean? If Eren's plan succeeds, what's the point in killing or stopping him? So yeah, I just don't know. I just don't know where the show's going, because on one hand, I see Gabi and Kaya as representatives of, like, the show's future, in a sense. That if everyone can end the cycle of revenge and bloodshed, the world can be saved, right? Like, if everyone can be like Sasha's sister and Gabi, everybody, like, can live, basically. Like, if the cycle of revenge stops. But there's always gonna be more than just the cycle of revenge that motivates people to do the things they do. You know what I mean? Like, the cycle of revenge isn't the only thing that's motivating Marley. It's also just a total disregard for human life based off of, like, an accumulation of power and resources that they want, right? And so I just don't know. I just don't know. This was pretty badass too, by the way, just now that we're getting past this section, I guess. And so yeah, this is what I meant by Yelena kind of baiting this Titan into, like, falling through the window, is I think that she was basically trying to see whether or not it would kill her, and if it would kill her, Zeke is no longer in control, and that has really, like, fucked with her, right? Moving on, though, we have Commander Pixis here. I got Pixis and then the other guy confused, and so I was like, oh, Pixis is alive? No, that was Shadis. And so, yeah, and so this was just, like, so heartbreaking. And somebody made a good point. This wasn't me because I forgot, but somebody said that, like, Pixis was the one who believed in Eren in the first place. Like, when all the crazy Titan shifter stuff was happening, like, Pixis kind of, like, vouched for them, and I don't really remember this, but it is true, apparently, if that person is to be believed, right? And so when you think about that, like, this is such a tragic scene, because he's the one who believed in Eren, and it may be Eren's actions that caused this, potentially, so I don't know. And yeah, is this Armin's first kill? I don't know if it is. I mean, Armin has killed a lot of people, like, accidentally, like, at the harbor and stuff. Someone said that this is, like, his big, like, main character kill, if that makes sense. Like, an actual on-screen character we knew and stuff. And that it was a mercy kill. And that may be, like, significant to show Armin's, like, pacifism. Because that's basically, like, Armin doesn't want to fight. You know, like, that's the whole thing. And yeah, I just got some shots of Mikasa because she's beautiful. And I like that, like, this girl that she saved that one time, like, they're fighting side by side, but Mikasa's just such a badass, you know? So Marley has no army, or at least, like, the army they brought here, no. No more pure Titans. What is Eren trying to do? You're looking at it. Yeah, there's not a lot there. I just love Floch's shit-eating grin, by the way, like his little, like, cat face thingy that he has there, right? Anyway, Yelena just doesn't give a fuck anymore because she knows that, like, she believed in Zeke, right? And all of that shit. And now, like, she has nothing in a way. You know, like, she believed in Zeke. She thought that Zeke was the one who was gonna save them all. And now it's hopeless. And yeah, the other guy, too, whose name I keep forgetting, like, he was also like, does that include my homeland, right? And so that's the other thing. And that's why I feel like that, like, even Jean is kind of rethinking his perspective, is because, like, the people that help them along the way, the people that have been subjugated by Marley will also die, and that's not fair, you know? And so I feel like that that may change their minds as well. And then we get the scene with Gabi, and I love how Sasha's dad tried to, like, set this up for them, and she's like, I don't want any trouble, I just want to get Falco back, and they're like, oh, fuck, we lost that kid. Like, you know, that's not good, because Armin even said how important Falco was to all of the Titan shifters from Marley, right? And so, yeah, it's just so fucked. Falco, where is he? You're kidding. He took Falco to feed his Titan mother? Why? Yeah, and so, do you guys remember? They were there, like, in that area. Do you guys remember, like, they were in that house and stuff, like, last season, and they saw that Titan, didn't they? That was, like, the whole thing. But she doesn't want to give up on Falco still, because she saw that Titan, so she saw how, like, fucked up it was, right? And so she realizes, like, actually, I think Connie, like, you know, I can't imagine all the pain that Connie has been through. That's why she apologizes. She's sympathizing with Connie in that moment, because they saw it, didn't they? And so she's saying, even so, even though I sympathize with Connie, I can't let him feed Falco to his mom. And so what's interesting here is that she actually, like, kind of calls upon the power of Eren in this moment, in a way, right? Like, can't Eren turn Connie's mom back to normal? Can't Eren do anything? Like, at this point, right, she's just like, she's almost, I don't want to say that she's throwing away how she feels about Eren, but I don't know how to explain it. It's like that Eren is kind of the devil, but he's also the god that you beg to when you want something, which makes sense. Like, it perfectly makes sense. I'm not saying that it's hypocritical of her or anything. I just think that it's kind of funny how this works. That she was like, Eren is like the devil and the monster, but in this case, he has all the power. And so now even she is like begging Eren to do something, right? If he could, I'm sure he would have. See, so that's the sketchy part. Would he have, though? That's the question. I don't think that he would have. I think that there's something about it that, like, Eren made them stay as Titans on purpose. It's possible, but it's just so sad to see how Gabi is, like, begging for a solution, right? Because that's the other thing, too, is that Armin is, like, solution, conflict resolution, man. And now Gabi, right, this kid that was trying to kill them all, right, a couple days ago, or, like, weeks ago, like, she's actually asking for conflict resolution, and Armin can't give her an answer. Does everyone off the island really have to die? They shouldn't have to. Ask him why he can't just destroy all the military bases. So that's interesting, too, because here's my thing about this, too. Even if you destroyed all of the military bases in the world, people would just make more, you know? And so I'm not saying, again, I'm not saying that as Calxiyn, but I'm saying that as Eren. Eren would probably say that doesn't solve the problem, because the problem is people with the hate in their hearts. You know what I mean? Like, that won't go away. Even if he destroys everybody's military in a couple years or a couple generations or even 100 or 200 years, they will rebuild their military and then they will come for them. So that's not good enough from Eren's perspective and Eren's eyes, right? And so this is where we get the bombshell, right? I don't understand how these two sentences are segued together, but anyway, I guess they just needed Gabi to tell Armin this somehow. And I love how Mikasa actually, like, is like, where is Reiner, right? Like, she's actually kind of concerned, but Armin is thinking about one thing. And I think he's actually, is he blushing? Anyway, maybe that's just like scuff marks on his, you know, from the fight. But if Eren meant he would undo all the hardening, and then we see the ring, the little slice ring, and Annie is finally back. And I'm so happy because it's been 1,000 years, and I'm so happy because I said this too, but I'm kind of mad because they called this episode Thaw, and she was at the very end, and then that was it. Like, that was it for Annie. So yeah, the question is, right, what the fuck are they gonna do with Annie now? It also seems like this was not her choice, because I sort of thought Annie is gonna be this wild card, right? She's gonna wake up, and she's gonna wake herself up because she heard Eren's message. Does that make sense? Like, she hears Eren's message and she's like, okay, well, I heard Eren's message, time to get up. But what seems like happened is that he forcibly made her wake up so he could send her the message, so she could participate in the message. So basically, I thought Annie heard the message and then she undid the casing herself. What really happened is Eren undid the casing and forced her to listen to this message, right? And so she must be like, what the fuck is happening, right? But yeah, so here's the thing, like, what is she gonna do? I don't know. Like, I feel like she's still a wild card, though. Does she want to side with them? Does she want to side with Reiner still? Does she want to side with no one? Maybe she does agree with Eren for some reason, right? So I'm thinking, like, will she side with Armin, with Eren, or with Zeke and them still, if they even have a fucking chance? So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And it's like, there's no clear answers to anything right now, but I do wonder, like, why unharden Annie? Is it because he saw a vision where that's relevant? And I know that I'm, like, putting a lot of emphasis on these visions and stuff, but, like, really, why do this? You know, like, I think that he undid the hardening to get out Annie more than he did it to, like, fuck with, like, Reiner's armor shit. You know what I mean? I think he did it to make sure that Annie got out of the casing. And so why do that when you could have left her in the casing all of the time? Like, you know what I mean? Like, now she could be an actual threat to you out of the casing. Whereas in the casing, she was a player removed from the game. But Eren wants her back in the game, so why? Is it because of something that he saw? I don't know. So yeah, in terms of next episode, here are some things that I think are important. Peck, unaccounted for. She is probably gonna go save Falco, if I had any guesses. She's gonna go save Falco from Connie and Connie's mom. I would also say that Connie may be dead, if that's the reason. He may have a very tragic end to his character, where Peck kills him and Mercy kills the mom to get Falco back, which could be, like, pretty fucked up. So that's one, okay? The second thing, Levi and Hanji are still, you know, out there, I guess. So maybe they see Connie and they're like, Connie, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Like, I don't know, maybe they stop Connie, right? And it could be a combination of the two, that Peck is stopping Connie, but Levi and Hanji are also stopping Connie. But yeah, Levi and Hanji are still out there somewhere. I don't think, is Levi still half Eldian? I don't remember. I know Mikasa is, because they say that. Like, they say that, like, the mom was fully Asian, I think that they say, whereas Mikasa is Eldian and Asian. And so I think that Mikasa is still Eldian. That's why she heard the vision and stuff. She's still a subject of Ymir. But is Levi? I'm not sure. So I don't know if Levi can actually eat Falco anyway, if he's really, like, injured and stuff. I don't think that that's an option. But maybe they'll stop Connie, I don't know, right, from feeding Falco to somewhere. Or maybe Falco will wake up and Connie will feel really bad, and they'll have a kind of like Kaya and Gabi moment. Annie, who fucking knows? They're probably gonna want to interrogate her, and she probably can't harden again. At least that's what I would think, that Eren just turned off the hardening, but doesn't that mean he also did it for himself? But I guess he could turn it back on whenever he wants, so... Anyway, maybe that's not relevant. We still don't know where Zeke is. Yeah, and so I don't know where this is going, to be honest. Because I could see, like, Eren, we kill Eren, we stop the rumbling, the world is saved. But then wouldn't the world just come and kill all of you? I feel like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like there's no happy ending. Like, I don't think that everyone's gonna die, per se, but I don't see this as going well any capacity. I think narratively, it would be more interesting for Eren to succeed with the rumbling compared to the rumbling being stopped by killing him. I feel like that would be a bit more interesting, just because you don't see that often, right? Like, you see, like, the whole, like, oh yeah, we killed Eren and the rumbling was stopped before anyone died and we saved the day. Like, you see that type of thing a lot, but it would actually be more impactful if the rumbling was, like, almost over by the time they kill Eren or something. I don't know. But anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for attending Calxyn's Royal Court today, and I will see you for next week's discussion, reaction, review, all of that fun stuff. So again, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye!